Hi, I'm Stephen Smith. I'm reading from All the King's Men by Robert Penn Warren. It looked as if Doc would have heart failure getting around to the other side of the soda fountain. The tail of that white coat was flat on the air behind him when he switched the corner and started clawing past the couple of girls in the lettuce green smocks so he could do the drawing. He got the first one set up and passed it to the boss, who handed it to his wife. Then he started drawing the next one and kept on saying, "It's in the house, Willie. It's on the house." The boss took that one himself, and Doc kept on drawing and saying, "It's on the house, Willie. It's on the house." He kept on drawing them till he got about 5 too many. By that time, folks were packed outside the door, solid to the middle of the street. Faces were pressed up against the screen, the way you do when you try to see through a screen into a dim room. Outside, they kept yelling, "Speech, Willie, speech!" "My God," the boss said, in the direction of Doc, who was hanging on to one of the nickel-plated spouts of the fountain and watching every drop of the Coke go down the boss's gullet. "My God," the boss said, "I didn't come here to make a speech. I came here to go out and see my pappy." "Speech, Willie, speech!" they were yelling out there. The boss set his little glass on the marble. "It's on the house, Doc," uttered croakingly with what strength was left in him after the rapture. "Thanks, Doc," the boss said. He turned away to head toward the door, then looked back. "You better get back in here and sell a lot of aspirin, Doc," he said, to make up for the charity. Then he plowed out the door and the crowd fell back, and we tailed after him. Mr. Duffy stepped beside the boss and asked him, was he going to make a speech? But the boss didn't even look at him. He kept walking slow and steady right across the street into the crowd, as though the crowd hadn't been there. The red, long faces with the eyes in them watching like something wary and wild and watchful in a thicket fell back, and there wasn't a sound. The crowd creamed back from his passage, and we followed in his wake, all of us who had been in the Cadillac, and the others who had been in the second car. Then the crowd closed behind. The boss kept walking straight ahead, his head bowed a little, the way a man bows his head when he is out walking by himself and has something on his mind. His hair fell down over his forehead, for he was carrying his hat in his hand. I knew his hair was down over his forehead, for I saw him give his head a quick jerk, once or twice, the way he always did when he was walking alone, and it fell down toward his eyes, the kind of motion a horse gives just after the bit is in and he's full of beans. He walked straight across the street and across the patch of grass roots and up the steps of the courthouse. Nobody else followed him up the steps. At the top, he turned around slow to face the crowd. He simply looked at them, blinking his big eyes a little, just as though he had just stepped out of the open doors in the dark hall of the courthouse behind him and was blinking to get his eyes adjusted to the light. He stood up there blinking, the hair down on his forehead and the dark sweat patch showing under each arm of his Palm Beach coat. Then he gave his head a twitch and his eyes bulged wide suddenly, even if the light was hitting him full in the face and you could see the glitter in them. "It's coming," I thought. You saw the eyes bulge suddenly like that, as though something had happened inside him, and there was that glitter. You knew something had happened inside him, and thought, "It's coming." It was always that way. There was the bulge and the glitter, and there was the cold grip way down in the stomach, as though somebody had laid hold of something in there, in the dark, which is you, with a cold hand in a cold rubber glove. It was like the second when you come home late at night and see the yellow envelope of the telegram sticking out from under your door, and you lean in and pick it up, but don't open it yet, not for a second. While you stand there in the hall with the envelope in your hand, you feel there's an eye on you, a great big eye looking straight at you from miles, and dark and through walls and houses and through your coat and vest and hide, sees you huddled up way inside. The eye knows what's in the envelope, and it is watching you, to see you when you open it and know too. But the clammy, sad little fetus, which is you, way down in the dark, which is you too, lifts up its sad little face, and its eyes are blind, and it shivers cold inside you, for it doesn't want to know what is in that envelope. It wants to lie in the dark and not know, and be warm in its not knowing. The end of man is knowledge. But there is one thing he can't know. He can't know whether knowledge will save him or kill him. He will be killed, all right. But he can't know whether he is killed because of the knowledge which he has got, or because of the knowledge which he hasn't got, and which, if he had it, would save him. There's the cold in your stomach, but you open the envelope. You have to open the envelope, for the end of man is to know. Thanks so much.